Hi, I'm Vickie Eisenstein with IdeateTV, and I'm here with Rob Chu, who designed this game, Rival Restaurants. Can you tell me a bit about the game?
Yeah, so Rival Restaurants is an asymmetrical real-time strategy negotiating game for 3 to 6 players where you own a restaurant and you are all rivals. So it's a game where you are all playing different restaurants and you have a different chef, and your goal is to be the first restaurant to hit 20 popularity points and become the hippest spot in town. So you'll work together, you'll backstab each other, you'll be friends, but you're also rivals because revenge is a dish best served cold and hot.
I like it. Great use of your tagline there. So tell me, do you have a history in the restaurant industry?
History in the restaurant industry, no. I like to think that my wife and I are passionate amateur cooks, so we love to cook, but no, my grandma was a small cook in Chinatown and in Honolulu, but no, we don't have a real background in food except from the fact that we love to eat it. And word on the street is if you don't eat every day, you eventually will die. So.
Right on, the street's pretty wise about that. So why don't you tell me a little bit then about what inspired you to create a game about food?
Yeah, awesome. So when I was in college, I went to UCLA, go Bruins. I just wanted to get people together. I love to do sports, but I also wanted to get together people who didn't play sports. And so after I come back from work, I would try to think of ways to get people together. And board games was a thing that had a pretty low bar. It's pretty accessible, pretty fun. And so I wanted to think of something that was accessible, something that everyone could relate to. I love Dungeons and Dragons as much as the next person, but sometimes for people, it can be a little intimidating. But I figured food is something that everyone likes, and restaurant owning is something that I think some people will often fantasize, wish they could own a restaurant. And so we created a game that kind of simulates that without any of the actual work of restaurant owning and all the silliness. So yeah, I just want a game that everyone could relate to and would enjoy.
That's really cool. So since this is your first game, right, how did you go about actually designing it and doing all of that?
It's a great question. When I first created this game, I just thought to myself, what would it be really cool to see? And what are the things that I'm maybe not as big of a fan of, and what would be kind of different? And of course, there's a lot of great games out there. But one of the things I really wanted to do was to have a game where you didn't have to wait for your turn, or at least not that much. So in our game, there's no such thing as waiting for your turn. It's always your turn, because in the restaurant business, time waits for no one. And so we wanted a game that really felt, as best as we could, like you were simulating the thing you're actually doing. We wanted to feel like you're owning a rival restaurant. And so we built the game built on the theme. So we thought of the theme, and we tried to say, how would this play out in a real game? And so you have to actually work to get ingredients. You can trade to get ingredients, all the while backstabbing each other. So you and I might trade each other, like I'll trade you my chicken for my fish, and then I'll have an action card that says ninja attack, and then I'll come and wreck your restaurant. So we just kind of did it like that, and our company is called Gap Closer, and the reason we're called that is because we really wanted to close the gap between people by using games. So we're all about games that people can find are family-friendly, but have a surprising depth of gameplay.
So I've been asking everyone, it's a little bit of a wild card question, but if you could have anyone, living, dead, fictional character, play the game with you, who would it be?
I would have to say, because we're a food game, I think we have to go with Gordon Ramsay. He may tear us apart, but I still think it would be a lot of fun, and that would be awesome. So if you're listening, Ramsay, we would love to have you play. My hope and dream is to eventually have some parody chefs named after Food Network chefs one day, if we ever get there. So.
Yeah, that would be so awesome. Yeah. Now, where can people find the game?
That's a good question. So you can find, so we just got kickstarted. We had a successful Kickstarter run back in February, got fully funded, and we're set to fulfill in October. Even though the Kickstarter campaign is over, you can actually find us at www.rivalrestaurants.com, and you can still pre-order our game. So you can just go on there, you can check it out, and this is a kind of an underground secret, but we're planning to have a expansion pack come out next year on Kickstarter as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's been a great interview, and make sure to check out their website and check out the game. I've been Vickie Eisenstein. This is IdeateTV.